Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about spiritual relationships or romantic relationships that are really centered around a spiritual nature, where there's kind of this feeling drawn together for greater expansion. I mentioned in a previous video we have the kind of physical connection, mental connection, emotional connection, and spiritual connection. And it's of my belief and personal understanding that I said we should be kind of focusing on our own independent growth as we find our way into spiritual contact and spiritual connection and being able to feel that resonance for ourselves and with other people. And sometimes that involves dating people before we understand that in ourselves, beyond the intellectual and in the experiential. And so there's a lot to discuss here. And today I'm just going to speak about this concept that's been rummaging in my mind about like, what is this energetic kind of agreement between the two people? What is energetic cheating? And so there's this idea I have of a kind of open monogamy relationship. And I believe in values of polyamory. I believe in values of open relationships. I believe that that's very specific to each partnership as to what that looks like and what does it mean. And it needs to be discussed and communicated very clearly and succinctly and repeatedly throughout the relationship as it like learns and moves and grows and changes and becomes whatever it is each step of the way. And so that's true of every relationship, honestly. But I do believe that polyamorous and open relationships really encourage and require and really ask of the participants to build their ability to communicate and build their ability to love each other thoroughly and fully and cleanly, purely, that the free love, being love, that I'll discuss in future videos. So in this case, just thinking about monogamy, because for me, I believe polyamory has a purpose in showing us our wounds and really forcing us to face these struggles of jealousy and envy and loss and grief and not good enough and wanting to be the only person who can give pleasure or can support or provide something for our loved ones and our partner. And it's so difficult. And I haven't practiced polyamory, but I am super just like keen on the idea for a limited time. And at some point, I really want to hone into the spiritual side of things, but I do believe when you're with multiple partners or when you're in an open relationship where you're sleeping with multiple people, you are kind of digging multiple wells. And I don't believe you can build them all equally deep. And I believe if you put them all into one well, one person that you're deepening the depths of a relationship with, that you can really dig deep wells, a deep well together. And you really access depths of spiritual connection, oneness, tantra together. Yeah, I know that can be I'm like second guessing my use of the word tantra here because it can be such a hot button word. And I also believe that it has been misused a lot in the modern Western world. But I do believe it. I believe the use of the word in its more traditional yogic sense of the connection between divine masculine and divine feminine and feeling that oneness within yourself. And technically in Tantra, little tangent, technically in Tantra, it doesn't matter who the other partner is. It just does need to be an opposite sex so that you, in my case, I am the divine masculine and she is that divine feminine. And it just helps bring that. It's already present in both of us, but having it with the other person just really helps to bring it up in each other. And it's removing passion, removing lust, removing the attachment to sense pleasure, where you're beyond this. So in the very traditional tantric practice, you're not with a person that you love in our kind of Western romanticized version of love, but love in fullness, love in oneness, love in universal, godly, divine love for all beings. And so love is there, the open heart is there, and the connection is there, but it's at a different capacity. And that's traditional tantra, and that's more of what I'm speaking to. And I personally can't do it in that way. Not right now, maybe never. Currently, I'm not thinking of doing that, but I do feel it in connection with one person in a committed, monogamous relationship where that well is being dug, and that well is being taken care of, and that well is being fed, and the depths of the connection in soul is readily available in that process. And so that's where I currently am. I'm thinking about this idea of what is monogamy for me, and what do I feel is cheating. And I was thinking, what I've learned in my own processes is that every form of cheating that I felt before, I used to be very like traditional in my 20s, where like, holding hands with someone else was cheating, cuddling with someone else is cheating, clearly like kissing was cheating, anything without clothes on cheating, obviously, but even just the smallest kind of degree of hand holding, I felt was cheating. And I think there's a lot of people who also believe that right now. But in my experience over time, I've been able to feel these things at different like levels of nuance, where before I would only hold hands with someone that I was in this romantic entanglement with. And then in later years, I'm holding hands with people I have no romanticism with. I just love this person and feel good about this person, feel good with this person, man and woman. And I have this desire to just hold their hand, to share in this care, to bring touch of care into the relationship. And there's no sexuality, there's no romanticism, there's no desire for kissing or something more. And it's just walking down the street, enjoying the company of someone else, and it just gives an extra layer of love to that engagement, to that interaction, and it just feels nice. But I've learned, for me, that's no longer feels like cheating. And when I'm dating someone right now, I'm not, but when I'm dating someone, I trust in their own inner understanding, their own awareness and perception of what is the feeling for them. And if it feels like cheating, well, then I trust that they'll listen to it. If it just feels like kind of platonic friendship love, that's being expressed by both parties, and then I trust them in their own discernment. And so for me, I was like, okay, well, if handholding is not cheating, and maybe for me, cuddling to a degree is not cheating. Really, it's so nuanced, it's really hard, but it's just in how are you feeling, what are you feeling, what is the other person feeling, and where are the intentions, right? And so I've come to the understanding in myself that there are the intention and the feelings behind these actions is the real sense of cheating. And I did not know or believe before that it was possible to cuddle with someone in a platonic way. I did not think it was possible to hold hands in a platonic way. I did not think it was possible to kiss someone on the hand or on the head in a platonic, just loving, caring way, kind of like that of a parent to their child. And I've come to actually realize that even kissing on the lips, or even kissing the breasts, or like I can't quite feel it, but even on genitalia, but that's way personal, and I'm not getting into that. But I do believe that it stretches to everything, that with the right intention, what matters is the intention and the feelings behind the act. And it has to be shared between the two people that are in that interaction, where if two people are kind of aware enough and in touch enough, and maybe even expanded enough to have a platonic kiss that has no romanticism, no sexuality, and no greater call behind it, that it is platonic and it is not cheating. Now, it's asking a lot. I'm not saying that it's something to bring into any relationship. I'm just theorizing and conceptualizing what I feel is true. And it's important to, for me, it's important to share. It's important to like come to this understanding that really the act itself is nothing. Like it is meaningful. The act has power, but it's the intention and the feeling behind it that is the root of the meaning behind that action. And so when I'm doing Reiki healing or intuitive healing, I will feel called to kiss someone on the forehead, top of the head, on the hand, and sometimes like on the outside shoulder, because it starts to become a little bit intimate there. You know, I've never felt called to kiss anyone in a very intimate or vulnerable, more sensual, is the word I'm looking for, location. But there's a power, like there's so much power behind the symbol of a kiss. And so kissing someone on the back of the hand, just it floods this loving energy in there that's associated with the years, centuries, lifetimes, and generations of civilizations who use kissing as a form of showing love. And so there's a lot of power behind the symbol of a kiss. In Reiki, they have different symbols that they use to strengthen the energy in a specific way. Different symbols have different kind of powers or ways of manipulating the intention of the energy. And they have power because they've been used throughout time. They've been used by many people, and there's an energy, a weight, kind of a construct that is associated with it, and it holds that power. Just like our words have power, the action has power, the symbols have power because of the meaning granted to it by so many people over so much time. And so that's what's happening here as well, where this, like a platonic kiss can come into play and not be romantic, not be sexual, not engage in that kind of energetic contract that exists between a monogamous or polyamorous couple, depending on what they're kind of performing in. So what I want to get to is this idea of it, kind of an energy contract. Like, so I'm thinking, well, what is cheating? If none of these physical actions are necessarily cheating on their own, then what is cheating? And so I came to, well, cheating at the energetic level. So what is energetic cheating? And so obviously with any couple, you have the agreement of this is what's okay in the relationship. And I'm trying to kind of make an argument that it's very nuanced. In anything, if you're not okay with someone holding hands, it's this level of insecurity and jealousy within that person, within myself, that I've had to face and overcome and experience that nuance of what is hand holding, and what can it be. And so, sorry, a phone call just came in. Let's see. So we have, when two people kind of come together at the spiritual level, there's a lot of love between them, and there's a lot of joy and peace and elation between them. And what's happening at some level, there's this energetic alliance where there's this union at the energetic level, maybe the karmic layer, that is this alliance, which means union with mutual benefits. And so there's this energetic alliance between these two people that allows them both to grow, allows them both to learn something new, allows them both to have greater self-understanding and self-awareness, allows them both to experience spiritual growth and connecting to themselves, to self, to oneness, and to God. And so that exists in this alliance. And so they come together in this knowing of this alliance between themselves and their energies and their karmas. And then they'll go through that process and they'll experience what they need to experience together. And maybe this is what's so scary to me, is that, it just, at this layer, it doesn't mean that it's a commitment for life. It just means it's a commitment until we have experienced what we need to experience together. And when it ends, it's love. There's no anger, there's no resentment, there's no loss. It's purely a loving relationship and involvement. And both parties can feel that, oh, this is no longer in this way, and now we are together in a new way, or maybe not at all. And that's so difficult for me, this idea of letting go and saying goodbye and not even being friends with this person that I have so much love for and have shared so much love and shared so much life with. But that is my belief. Now, it doesn't mean, like, currently I still really, really want and find myself craving the safety and security of a committed, long, lifetime partner. Even with this kind of bodily and intellectual understanding and knowing and understanding of this energetic alliance that exists between really spiritually connected and aligned couples. And so for me, what is cheating? This whole process of coming back to energetic cheating. So you have these two people coming together in that alliance. So anything that removes one of them from the alliance, anything that takes away from the energetic alliance, will constitute as cheating. And so there's this alliance here where people are growing together, right? We're just stepping higher and higher and higher. And if there's an action over here with somebody else that's then dropping this person down or preventing that rising together, this is cheating. This is what I understand now as cheating. It's taking away from that energetic alliance. It's kind of breaking the energetic contract that was signed when these two people came together. And so that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed that. I would love to hear your thoughts. Tell me how crazy I am, or tell me what you thought made sense to you. Tell me what you thought didn't make sense. And I would love to hear, peck at it. Peck. Let me hear what you have to say. Love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Namaste.